Okay, so Be'ezras Hashem, we are continuing with our weekly series of Shirim on the Ramchal's Adir BaMarom, diving deep into the depths of the Zohar Kadosh to reveal the treasures that are hidden within each and every word. And today, Be'ezras Hashem, we're going to come to a close of Perek Gimel, which is still the setup frame of the teachings of the Idra. And again, the setup frame contains all of the teachings that are going to be revealed within the frame itself, but nevertheless, they're still in the framing process. And what we're going to be discussing today is really going to be what we have to remember throughout the rest of the Idra, which is that when secrets of Torah are revealed, it doesn't mean that they are revealed. That a secret doesn't simply mean something that is politically hidden. It doesn't simply mean that it's something that is revealed to those who are deserving and concealed to those who are undeserving. That's a secondary form of secrecy. That's accidental secrecy, that it's just a secret for those who are undeserving. But then there's a far more inherent and essential quality to secrecy that takes shape in Pnimiyas HaTorah, which is that the very essence of the teachings are a sod, they are a secret, which means to say that even after they are revealed, they remain a secret in their revelation itself. This is very different than the first quality or category of secrets. In the first category of secrets, where a secret is a secret because there are some who deserve to know and some who don't deserve to know, so to those who know, it's revealed and it's not a secret, but to those who it's hidden from, it's still a secret, but there's a possibility of it not being a secret if they gain access to that inner realm of knowledge that was not theirs prior to. That implies that the information being conveyed is not essentially secret, but rather secondarily secret or accidentally or provisionally secret, to the degree that they're secret only because of external circumstances. But then there's a far more essential and ontological element of secrecy, which is that the secret has nothing to do with whether the information is revealed or not, because the revelation of the information does nothing to take away from the secrecy that continues to rest within the information itself. That no matter how much revelation is revealed, nevertheless, the information being revealed conveys itself by way of the secret. It's a revealed secret, but it's a secret revealed, meaning to say that it's revealed to us, but nevertheless, when we try and lay claim to the essential nature of it, we come up empty-handed, because in the end of the day, it's a Soid Hashem Liyareav. It's a private experience. It's a private knowledge that can only be conveyed to the self by way of the secret silence that comes to face the recognition that language fails to describe what it's trying to describe, not because I don't have the right words, but specifically because I have the right words. And when all is said and done, the information continues to persist in its secrecy. It's not fully revealed. And this is going to be the quality of what we see in the Zohar Kadosh, and really what we see in the Arizal, and ultimately what we see throughout the generations and the transformation of Pnimiyas HaTorah. That Vai'i Galina, Vai'i Lo Galina. Woe to me if I do reveal, woe to me if I don't reveal. Rabbi Shimon never overcomes this undecidability between revelation and not revealing, because that struggle remains true at every point that a person encounters Pnimiyas Torah. It must be revealed, but it can't be revealed. The way that we find the very, very narrow path that leads us away from this inherent contradiction of revelation and concealment is to reveal by way of concealment, is to give over the secrets, but to ensure that the secrets continue to maintain their secrecy even when they're revealed, to the degree that the word sod, as the Leshem Shubha V'Chaloma says, is fundamental to the content. It is not a secondary adjective of the content, that it's secret wisdom, but it's rather the wisdom of secrecy. It's conveying to us the secret wisdom of owning information without being able to lay absolute and fundamental claim to it. This is the secret of whispering secrets that we see in the Zohar Kadosh, that Marcheshvan, that the lips of the Tanaim are quivering. What is it about the secret that has to be whispered? Whispering is what takes place when a person encounters the collision point between speech and silence, between chash and mal. Chash is speaking, mal is silence. Because neither side is able to give up on its very rightful claim to the way that the content of Pnimiyas Torah should be conveyed, there has to be a drawing together, a suturing together of these two polar opposite forms of expression, meaning non-expression and expression, and they have to be joined together in a secret paradoxical form of language that speaks by way of not speaking, or it doesn't speak by way of speaking. It whispers itself. It's not speaking loudly and it's not speaking silently. It's an in-between. It's a chash and a mal at the very same point. And when a person has the ability to move forward into the territory of Pnimius HaTorah in this way, then a person is going to be protected from ever falling into the arrogance-driven problems that come about with thinking that a person knows what they talk about. If I know fundamentally that in the end of the day it's a secret and Sod Hashem Le'Yarev and it's a chok and that I have no idea about anything whatsoever, and that in the end of the day all I can say is the words that the tzaddikim said, so then a person can smoothly access the life-giving waters of Pnimius HaTorah without running the risk of thinking that they can reach some sense of graspability or perfectibility. And this is what Rabbi Shimon is going to give us in the fundamental final setup prior to entering into Parak Daled, which is going to be the beginning of the Tikkunim, where we're going to begin to understand what the Chavraya are talking about with regards to the Partsufim of Atik and Arich and Abba and Ima and Zah and Nuk. And before we get into the details, Rabbi Shimon is still going to give us this final framing that is going to lead us into the path. Rabbi Shimon Pasach V'Yamar. The Zohar HaKadosh says as follows. Rabbi Shimon opened up and he says, Hoylech Rachil Megalasoid V'Ne'eman Ruach Machasadavar. A base individual, like the Pasuk in Mishlei says, they go and they reveal all of the secrets, but one who is trustworthy of spirit is the one who contains and conceals the information within themselves. Hoylech Rachil, the one who is base, the one who walks and reveals secrets. Ha'kra Kasha. There's a problem in this Pasuk. Kivan de Itmar Rachil, Amai Hoylech. So if we're talking about a base individual, why is the Zohar HaKadosh referring to it as a hoylech rachil, someone who walks, someone who is perpetually on the move? That's the question that the Zohar is speaking about. Instead of saying a hoylech rachil, someone who walks with this baseness, which is revealing secrets all the time, it should be ish rachil mi ba'ilei lememar. Man hoylech, it should say a person who is a rachil. Why does it say a walker who is a rachil? What does walking have to do with this revelation of secrets? Ela man deloi is yashev beruche v'lo have mehemna hahu mila deshmaya azil begave chizra b'maya. So ultimately, what it really means is as follows, that the reason that the person is referred to as a hoylech rachil is because their spirit is not settled. There's a lack of settled nature and calmness within the spirit, and they don't have the ability to draw down a trustworthy engagement with something. Every word that they hear is immediately going to express outwards. It's not going to hit. It's not going to leave a mark. It's going to leave like some twig that fell into water until they have nothing left. My time, what's the reason for this? Mishum deleis rucha rucha de kiyuma, because the spirit of this individual doesn't have the ability to allow those words to settle in. Aval man de rucha rucha de kiyuma, but somebody who has a spirit of withstanding, an ability to hold themselves, and an ability to withstand the pressure to reveal and maintain that possibility of concealing for a little bit longer. Beik siv, over there, the pasuk says, "V'ne'eman ruach mechasa davar," and the person who is trustworthy in spirit, they're the ones who are concealing the matter. V'ne'eman ruach, what does it mean to be a trustworthy individual, a trustworthy spirit, specifically the ruach? Kiyuma de rucha, it means that the spirit and the ruach is actually withstanding, it's holding itself upright, and it's maintaining its composure instead of just revealing itself. Berucha talia milsa. Everything is dependent upon breath. Everything is dependent upon the ruach. V'chsiv al titein es picha lahachti es basrecha. As the pasuk says, don't allow your mouth to be the opening in which your body begins to fall into transgression. So that is the words of the Zohar Kadosh. Zak the Heilige Ramchal. V'amar Rabbi Shimon pasach v'yamar. Rabbi Shimon opens up and he quotes the pasuk that the person who is untrustworthy is going to reveal everything, but the person who is trustworthy is going to be able to maintain that inner sense of secrecy. V'zeh amru. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, after describing the zivug above in the secret anan b'chavivusa tal yamilsa of drawing down the Torah b'derech ahava, of going down into the concealment to reveal HaKadosh Baruch Hu's light down there before we could go back up into Chachma. So Rabbi Shimon is again reminding us how to prepare ourselves properly. Shahaya nimshach aleihem min hazivug hazeh hana'aseh aleihem. Through the gathering of the Chavraya, through anybody who's reading the words of the Chavraya, there's that zivug that's taking place. There's the unity between above and below, and anytime there's a unity between above and below, there's going to be a hiskalus of a tipa. There's going to be a hiskalus of a drop of insight that emerges into the world. And in order to be able to receive that drop of insight, those neshamos chadashos, that new hasaga and chidushay Torah, that chidush and amuna, a person has to understand how to receive it properly. V'ha'inyan ki hashefa yored haneshama noiteles oso besod achila derech hapeh v'hu haman v'sodo lechem hanivla be'evarim. What is the way that we draw down the shefa? What is the way that a person awakens themselves to receive the light that's coming down from above? It's going to be in the secret of achila. Achila is developing a bond with something. When I eat something, I'm transforming that object that was other than me prior to this experience of eating, and through the process of chewing and swallowing and the digestive process and the sustenance that takes place, that food which was originally separate from me is now going to be part and parcel of me. This became fundamentally clear in the secret of the man, where there was a direct relationship and a fundamental unity between the thing that was outside of the person, which was the man, and the processing and the digestion internally, which was the secret of the man being devoured and being kind of drawn in through the body itself, to the degree that there was no waste. It was a direct relationship. So when we're drawing down light from above, it's the secret of achila. It's the secret of drawing it down into the peh. The peh is malchus. The peh is the beginningness of our opening to try and awaken a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Everything starts with the peh. Hashem sefasai tiftach. A person has to awaken themselves and say moda ani. It starts with uttering and enforcing the spiritual awareness, specifically by way of breaking it down into specific words and letters and phonetic sounds. That's the secret of the peh. V'teda, a person has to know that when the food hits the stomach, meaning to say, on a spiritual level, when we draw down the insight into the mouth and it comes into the moichin and it goes to the lowest part of the moichin, which is the mouth, and then it begins to get drawn down into the midos themselves, into the stomach, into the lower part of the self. When a person is properly digesting the spiritual insight that is coming down from above at every single moment, the stomach is settled. There's a settling of the stomach, and the ruach knows exactly where it needs to go. The breath knows which areas it needs to go into. Kulam miyushavim b'mekom masam. Everything is organized, everything is arranged, everything is fine. Va'az ma'aklim oisai umamshichim oisai b'kelim ketanim hamuchanim lahem. And then when the stomach is settled, when the vessels are settled and they're not all over the place and they're not unsettled, so then the food, the insight gets processed properly and it gets drawn down to other vessels where it needs to go. Then it can go down and express itself across the body, across the areas that it needs to be expressed. Ach im haruchos enam miyushavim b'mekomosehem. But if the spirit is unsettled and everything is moving too quickly, and a person is in a state of bahala, v'heim mibulbalim, and a person doesn't know how to receive the light, and a person doesn't know how to draw down the light or how to process or digest the light, enam mamshichan hamazon l'makomo. The food goes to the wrong places. The spiritual insight goes to the wrong place. Ela doichem oisei lachutz va'az nes hahikia. And what happens at that point is that because the digestion is not taking place properly, whatever goes in is going to the wrong place. And what it does is, instead of creating a digestive process where the food and the insight can be processed further and further internally, what takes place is a vomiting. When the body is receiving something that the stomach can't handle, it naturally vomits it out. Vomiting is this intolerance of holding this thing that's inside of me for even a second longer. That's what happens when the stomach is nubulbal, when the vessels of receiving the insight from above is not set up properly. Instead of digestion, we're going to have vomiting, which is the inability to hold it within ourselves. This is exactly what the neshama does as well. The secrets of indigestion and healthy digestion are true for the neshama's processing of the spiritual insight that is available to it in accordance with its status and its own level in each and every moment. Somebody who has a calm spirit, Yishav Hadas, V'kayim hadavar shelekeach, and they know how to hold on to the food that they're eating or to the thing that they're taking. Miyashvo b'makomo umachasa oso b'toch kelav. They know what to do with it. They know where to place it in their bag, and they know how to live comfortably with that thing. They don't have to let go of it. They don't have to share it. They know how to find a place for it. They find compartments to hold that light. V'hu inyan nivla be'evarim, and that's the secret of the man that is devoured and it's processed and it's digested through the limbs themselves without any mistake, without any excess, without any mishandling of it, without any unsettledness. Ach im rucho eno ruach miyushav. But if the person who is receiving the insight doesn't have yishav hadas, but rather has bahala sanefesh and doesn't know what to do with what they're receiving, eno mamshich, they don't draw it down further into themselves. Ela doicha ad shemoisa otzalachutz. The only thing that they know how to do is to push it outwards. V'chein ne'emar hoylech rachil. This is what it means to say that someone is a hoylech rachil. The rachil is the person who, because they don't have the proper vessels to receive the light that's coming in, so naturally the body can't handle it, it's intolerable, and they have to reveal it, they have to vomit it out. That's why this person is called a hoylech rachil. It's not just a base individual. The issue is the halicha, this unsettledness, this moving to and fro, like Cain, who doesn't have the ability to pause, but is always perpetually moving because there's no sense of yishuv hadas. That halicha is what prevents the individual from remaining settled with a particular idea. Ki haruach shelo holech tamid ve'eno miyushav, because a person like this, their ruach is always perpetually moving here and there, and there's no way to draw down the insight into the pleasant place of situatedness, just like the mayim she'enam kvuim elahim misnainanim tamid, like the water of the reality, which is in a perpetual state of movement. Water doesn't stand still; it's perpetually moving, and therefore nothing can truly settle into it. L'chein gam hachizra dainu hamotz enam misyasef sham, and that's the lashon that the Zohar Kadosh said, that a person who doesn't have the ability to allow the secrets of Torah to find presence within themselves, to develop the vessels properly, to know what to do with the information, to know how to comfort the self with the information, so then they're going to be like water that can't even hold a twig in it for even a second, because it's going to go from place to place. There's no situatedness, there's no ground of the self that is strong enough to hold the insight that's coming down, and therefore it just vomits it out immediately. But unlike water, if we're talking about a stone or a tree, but if a twig or something gets stuck on a tree or a rock, something can be contained within that to the degree that it becomes part and parcel of the tree or the rock, meaning to say that with the sturdiness of self and a movement away from the pure fluidity of self, but rather the cultivation of gevura, the ability to develop limits within the self, then those words are going to be able to settle in. And that's going to be the secret of the ne'eman ruach, someone who is trustworthy in their spirit. Berucha talyam mil savada. It's all tali and all dependent upon our patience, about our ability to take a deep breath, about our ability to recognize that there's no race and that I don't have to throw this information out immediately, and that I can sit with this information and I can allow this information to have its impact on me, and I can digest this information properly. That's totally in the ruach. That's totally in the deep breath. That's totally in the ruach hapeinu Mashiach Hashem. Shudavar prati l'ruach lidchos olim sheichama'ach lemakomo. It's all dependent on the ruach, on the in between of the self. There's going to be the neshama, which is our spiritual self, the nefesh, which is our physical self, and the ruach is that kind of dial that manages our patience level. Ruach hapeinu Mashiach Hashem marich af. That it's all about the deep breath that a person cultivates to be able to be patient in the face of a moment of urgency, that it's going to become the vessel, the containment valve that either ensures the proper digestion of Pnimiyas HaTorah or the unhealthy vomiting of Pnimiyas HaTorah, which is the secret of Hailech Rachel. Zok the Heilige Ramchal. Like we just said, the neshama is the element of spirituality. It's always accessing Pnimiyas HaTorah. The nefesh is the element of the body. It's always accessing the Torah of this worldliness and doing what it needs to do in this world. But the ruach is the in-between, the liminal space that either goes up to the neshama or goes down to the nefesh, and has the ability of going up and down, miketza hashamayim ad ketza hashamayim. That's where all of the tnuos are. All of the movement is in the ruach. It could either go up to the neshama or it could go down to the nefesh. It could hold or it could let go of. It could vomit or it can digest. That is going to be the question, the ruach, the ne'eman ruach, or is it going to be the opposite of ne'emanus? But it's about patience. It's about taking a deep breath with the information and being aware of the fact that even if something is not happening in this exact moment, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. All urgency is born out of the fear that if it's not happening now, then it's never going to happen. And therefore, a person is dochik the sha'ah, and they push across the boundary of the natural limit of time, and they do things too early, or they vomit something out in the wrong time. But ultimately, it's about the ruach, the machasadavar, my ability to conceal myself, my ability to hold on to myself, my ability to maintain that composure prior to revelation. That's the secret of the ruach. Ulachein misha rucha miyushav zak the Heilige Ramchal. Someone who has a settled spirit, someone who has the ability to take a deep breath. Mekabel hadvarim ve'ein lo bahalu lo hitziam. A person like this is not going to be in a state of scatteredness, in a state of, oh my God, if I don't reveal this right now, I'm going to fall apart. If I don't have somebody else see this right now, I'm going to fall apart. Aval misha rucha mebulbal, but someone who has bilbul hanefesh, and they feel that everything is in the wrong place at the wrong time. Kishashomea hadavar nasabo atzur ba'atzmo achayotzihu. It's going to be painful for that person until they vomit it out, until they bring it out of themselves. V'teida, and a person must know, shehine hasitra achra oichezes bebasar ha'adam. The main place in which the sitra achra and concealment and impatience and struggle, the main place that it affects the individual is within the body itself. Ach, afal pikein ein lo rishus lichanis l'sham. But nevertheless, the sitra achra does not have permission to attack the body until it's given rishus. And the rishus that the body gives to the Sitra Achra, to enter in, is going to be through the mouth itself. The Peh is the opening and the Peh is the closing. The Peh is what opens me up towards goodness, or the Peh is what closes me off from goodness. As the Vilna Gaon said to his family when he imparted upon his trip to Eretz Yisrael, he says, Kol rega v'rega sha'adam soisim espiv zoiche litoim metam or haganas. Every single moment that a person maintains the closeness of their mouth, meaning to be a machase davar, they taste the secret of or haganas. As Rabbeinu says that the secret of kvoid Elokim is hester davar, that there's a concealment, there's a patience, there's a recognition that even though everything is being revealed, there's still something that's waiting to be revealed, and I'm patient to see what the true secret of revelation actually is. So the peh is going to be the site in which we're either going to speak positively or speak negatively. And again, there's the peh of the mind, where it's the self-talk that we develop within ourselves and the negative descriptions about ourselves, which are still going to feel like the peh itself. The mouth is the opening. The mouth is always the opening. Malchus peh. That's the beginning. That's Olam HaAkudim. That's where all things begin. But Ezra Hashem, the Zohar Kodesh continues and it says, "V'leis alma mitkayama ele beraza." In truth, the entirety of existence is dependent upon the secret. Now, if the secret was, like we said in the first element of secrecy, just an accidental secret, meaning it wasn't time to reveal it yet, so then we can't say that the world subsists upon the secret, because if the secret can be revealed, then what's the world going to subsist on? But because the secret is an ontological secret, and no matter what is said and done, it still is going to remain caught up in the he'elem ha'atzmi, in the utter concealment of it all, which teaches us that lo yodea klum, and that choik hatoiv lehetiv, and that it's ultimately just a choik, and that I don't know, only then can we understand what it means that the world is sustained upon the secret, because ultimately the secret is always going to be there. I might reveal the secret right now and come to grasp what I thought I didn't know, but then what will be revealed to me is just the higher level of secrecy, which remains above my mind, perpetually driving a person to be aware of the fact that kedushasi l'mala mikdushaseichem, and that ultimately everything remains a secret until Mashiach Tzidkenu comes and reveals the ability to live with secrets in a way that we're not going to feel that we're missing anything. V'chi ibemile da alma itzarech raza b'milen razin da razia da atik yoimin v'lo itmasrin afilu l'malochin iloyin al achas kama v'kama. The entirety of existence stands upon the secret. Now, this, the Zohar Kadosh says, is true in the matters of this worldliness itself. The olam is melashon ha'elam. In relationship, there's always an element of secrecy. A person can't reveal themselves fully to another person, even if they bear their entirety of self towards the other person. We're still maintaining a certain sense of secrecy. If it's true for matters of this world, all the more so it's going to be true for the secrets of Torah, not only the secrets of Torah, but the razin of Atik Yoimin. That's what we're drawing down here. The Torah Chadasha Me'iti Titze, the secret of the Derech Ahava, the secret of the acknowledgement that I can go all the way down into the territories of concealment and be fundamentally aware that the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there as well. That's the Giloi of Rashbi. That's the Giloi of the Derech of Ahava. The secrets of Torah, which are not revealed even to the Malachim above, because they're shaykh just to human beings down below. So all the more so there has to be this maintenance of secrecy, this ontological care for the secret, the fact that even when all is said and done, there still remains far more mystery than that which is revealed. The entirety of the sustenance of the world stands upon the secret of the secret. And this is the secret of Bereshis, which is the Osios Bris Eish. It's the covenant of fire, it's the Bris Mila, it's the Yesoid, it's the Soid Hashem Li'areyav. It's the ability for a person to withhold themselves, to not reveal themselves, to hold themselves back, to maintain composure, to not reveal oneself by way of hikia or vomiting themselves out, but rather to maintain that sense of delayed gratification and to maintain a sense of self within the self, even if it's not revealed to somebody else. Vihu kihine ksiv. What does this have to do with the bris? What does the sod have to do with the bris? Pasuk says, "Im loy brisi yoimam v'layla chukos shamayim va'aretz loy samti." So we see that if HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not create the covenant of the day and the night, then the chukos of the heavens and the earth would not have been developed. We see that the bris is contained with the word chok. Chok, we know, is the secret of para aduma. We don't know anything. Amarti echak me'vihi rechoikem mimenu. And that's going to be the association between the bris and the chok, that they both bring out the secret of the soid. V'zeh ki chukos hem devarim shem The secret of a choik is that the purpose and the reason behind them are concealed completely. This is not accidental because we're not worthy of understanding the secret, but adrabah, this is exactly how HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to reveal himself by way of the chok. Why? The sitra achra can be mistavik to chachma. The sitra achra thinks that it knows. Chachma b'goyim ta'amin, that if a person is operating based on what they know and based on their rational or intellectual knowledge and things that are identifiable and provable, then the sitra achra has the ability to be chal there. It can break down systems of reason. It could bring other chachmos from afar and disable the chachma that we're trying to cultivate. So anytime we're dealing with the known, so there is a sitra achra that has the ability to attack there. It's only in the unknown. It's only in the concealment that the sitra achra has no access point because it's lamala mitam vadas. It's an emuna that's removed from intellectualization. V'hinei hu soid hapanim shel hadvarim hanisan rak lahatzadikim. The secret of the chok and the inner knowledge of the chok and the purpose for the chok is the panim of the chok, which is revealed only to the tzadikim, but even there it has to be revealed as a chok, as we see from Shlomo Melech. Tzarech lahakimo kach b'derech sod. It has to be revealed, but it has to be maintained in the element of a secret. Kedei shegam hachukim yisharu b'tokfam. So that even the chok, even after we try and understand reasons for the chok, nevertheless we come back to that place of realizing lo yadei klum, that ultimately it's a choiku v'lo ya'avor, and that ultimately it's because this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. And because I can't grasp them and no tzaddik can grasp them, all the more so the sitra achra has no access because it's lamala mitam vadas. The secret of the chok is the inyan of chukas para, where there's a paradoxical process in which the tahor is going to become tameh and the tameh is going to become tahor. It's this chiastic process of the inter and shifting processes of light and darkness and the internal bonds that they hold together because they're two sides of the same coin. This is the depths of Pnimiyas HaTorah. Right now, as long as we're in Golus, everything has to happen b'derech hachoik, as the Ramchal explains very powerfully in his Igros Kodesh in Igeras Pevav, where he talks about Zois Chukas HaTorah, the burning of the Talmud in Rome, Rahman al-Islan, and how the burning of books and the erasure of trying to understand something is very often how we upkeep the secrets of Torah within Golus itself. L'tayr tmeim u'l'tameh tahirim. The whole shar hachoikim seidem kach, and all chukim are really rooted in this. The choik of para is not alone; it just comes to reveal the nature of all other chukim as well, and how every mitzvah is a chok. L'chein tzarich lios ha'adam bal sod. A person has to become a person of secrecy. A person has to. It doesn't mean a person has to hide away. It doesn't mean a person doesn't speak. It just means that a person carries themselves with anava and the recognition that even though things are being revealed, nevertheless I am fundamentally aware that what is being revealed is simply a remez ba'alma, a tzion b'derech, to hint to the fact that there is an inner content here that is unrevealable, that is not something that can be grasped by the intellectual mind, but only held by way of amuna in the derech of the secret. When a person holds themselves in this place of secrecy, when a person holds themselves back and owns the fact that they don't know, and owns the fact that at the heart of all revelation there still persists a certain element of the secret and the Soid Hashem Le'erev, what we do is we ensure that every element that needs to remain hidden and concealed within reality to protect it from becoming prey to concealment and sitra achra, it's going to be upheld in its secrecy. By us holding ourselves with patience, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to reveal the light of his patience as well, and he's going to reveal his lights by way of patience. And then the world is not going to be destroyed. Because as long as things maintain concealed within secrecy, there's no access point to the sitra achra. Lo yodea klum, I don't know anything. Amuna can't be fought against. The idea can be fought against. Amuna can't be proven, but Amuna also can't be disproven. But someone who reveals what they feel is the depths of the secret in a place that they don't need to be doing so, or revealing it in a way that's not done properly, so then all of the things that need to remain secret are revealed a little bit, and then they become things that seem to be congealed in logic. And if they're congealed in logic and we forget about the profound secrecy that surrounds them, so then they become something that can be attacked and they become minimized and they become cheapened. And that's where it gets attacked by the sitra achra. We have to always maintain the secrecy, and we have to always maintain the bittul and the anava and the yiras shamayim that comes with the notion of sodos, that there's a sod, and no matter what we know, we still don't know. Gam hachukim va'olam hayacharev chas v'shalom. If we didn't hold on to this ability, the world would be destroyed. V'neim hatikun zenetaken ayidei hadavarim shel ha'olam kol shekain b'divrei toru b'sodos hapnimim. This is true again in every element of our lives, holding ourselves with patience, holding ourselves with yishuv hadas, maintaining a certain secret sense of secrecy secrecy that overcomes that all too natural tendency towards urgency, which is that nature of the soul to vomit out whatever it has that's not placed properly within it. We have to learn how to hold ourselves. We have to learn the secret of ne'eman ruach machasa davar, to learn the secret of kisa atek yoimin, that it's specifically by way of concealment that we reveal more and more. Kiyesh besoides atzman panemius me panemius. And we're not only talking about panemius atoria, we're talking about the razin, we're talking about the secret of the secret point that is going to reevaluate the entire way that a person can live their lives. When a person uncovers a tipa, one drop of the razin, it's enough to irrigate every element of that person's life. The Eluheim razin, the atik yoimin, shahayaloi legales kan beidra. And this is the secret of the razin, the secrets of all secrets, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted Rashbi to reveal here in the Idra. We're not going to finish this parak today. We're going to finish it either tomorrow or next week, but it's going to be a continuation of revealing what it is about the Sod and the Yesod and the secret of Yagil Pazak and the secret of Yachid Ge'ela Amecha Panei Zocher Kedushasecha and the secret of Geula that comes about by holding that secrecy within ourselves, by knowing that we don't know, and Be'ezrus Hashem entering improperly into the chambers of Rabbi Shimon with the secret of Pasach Rabbi Shimon, that we create openings for ourselves, openings of air, openings of sustenance, openings of comfort, openings of patience, openings of yishav hadas, openings of being able to live comfortably internally without the need to vomit it out outside in order to give it validation, but rather to hold the light within ourselves so that our entire bodies become illuminated be'ezras Hashem.